I'm actually going to pee real quick. Is that sure? Perfect. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for your flexibility. I always appreciate it. And I apologize for the last minute quick time change. It did seem like a lot of people would prefer the 8 o'clock. So let me just put on my earplugs. So I may move this next week to the 8 o'clock time slot. All right, let's get going. So I'm going to kick things off with a quick refresh of what we are focusing on for this week. And we kind of went over last week, and then we're going to get right into macros and low carb days and all the fun stuff that we have coming up this week. All right. So first week we practiced intermittent fasting. Some of you are doing a 12-hour, some of you are doing 14, some of you are doing 16. We focused on eating whole foods, hopefully listening to our bodies more. We also focused on drinking enough water, and maybe we dabbled with some of the workouts even. I would love for you guys to use the chat feature and let me know which workout was your favorite. I did all of them last week, except for, I think I skipped upper body. I usually never miss a strength day, but we had a lot going on last week and I think I missed that one. But let me know in the chat feature which one was your favorite, which workout. Could have been Monday, could have been Tuesday. All right, so this week coming up, we are focusing on macros and carb cycling. We are slightly behind in sending out everyone's personalized macros. However, I'm going to go over with you guys how we figure them out. Okay. And then I'm going to get into what we call carb cycling, which we're going to get more into next week. But I'm going to touch upon them this week. All right, so let's get into macros. What are they? Hopefully you watched the video from Amanda that talks about macros, carbs, fat, protein. Carbs obviously are short for carbohydrates. There are 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates. They are what are going to give us our energy. If any of you have ever run a marathon, raise your hand if you've ever run a marathon. Most of you are, your cameras are not on, but that's okay. You know, I see one. You know that you have those goo gels or those little blocks, and basically those are just those are carbohydrates, they're sugar, and it's the quickest way your body can convert sugar, carbohydrates into energy. Protein, building blocks of our muscles, super important that we get our protein, especially for those of us who are 40 and up. Well, actually for everybody. And then we also have fats. Fats do not make you fat. I think most of you know this, especially if you're here. Fats are super important for a lot of different things that our bodies do. Brain health, cognitive function, as well as actually absorbing and digesting and reaping the benefits, a lot of the nutrients that we eat. I'm sure you've heard of fat soluble vitamins. Basically, all that means is that you need to consume those vitamins with a fat like olive oil on a dressing, if it's in the form of a vegetable, to be able to absorb and digest and really utilize the benefits that are coming from those vitamins. So we're not going to talk about micronutrients here, although micronutrients are important. We are just focusing on macros. We do not count calories here. We believe that eating enough of the right foods in the right combination is the special sauce, is the secret to why our program works and is so effective for so many clients. So there are, I think I said carbs, but there are 4 calories per gram of protein. There are 9 calories per gram of fat. Alcohol, I'm going to tell you real quick, is not a macronutrient. So if you put into your tracking capabilities that you had a glass of wine, those calories are going to be like free calories, and we do not want that. So at the end of the call, I will talk about how to properly track alcohol. You have to manually choose if you want it to be a fat or a carb. And then we're going to literally be like, okay, this is 30 grams of carbohydrates. And you're manually going to put it in like that. Because if you just put in wine, it's going to be free calories. And we obviously don't want that. Okay. So, what is the right macronutrient split for you? Most of you are going to be given a 40-30-30 split. This is not the standard Faster Way protocol. This is something that I do in my groups because of the demographics that I tend to get for clients. So all this means is that 40% of your total calories are going to come from carbohydrates, 30% are going to come from protein, and 30% are going to come from fat. This is the ideal macro split for most clients who are 35 and up. This is also going to be the ideal macro split for anyone that has hormonal imbalance, carb gluten sensitivity, and autoimmune disorder like Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism. The next option is 45, 25, 30, which tends to be more the baseline of Faster Way. This is more carbohydrates. I tend to get clients who are more sensitive to carbs. So that's why we do the 40, 30, 30. But if you struggle to hit your protein and you're constantly going over in carbs, I'm totally cool with you switching to this macro percentage split, because I want this to be sustainable. I want this to be something that you can do intuitively in like 12 weeks. So again, all this means is that 45% of your calories are coming from carbohydrates, 30% are coming from fats, and 25% are coming from protein. Last split that I'm going to mention is the 50, 20, 30, 50% carbs, 20% protein, 30% fats. This is for my vegetarian and my vegans. If you do not eat meat, this is the split that you are going to take. In your new client intake form, if you did not mention that you are a vegan or a vegetarian, we may not know to put you on this macro split. So if you get your macros and you're like, I am a vegetarian, please let us know if you do not have the 50, 20, 30 split. All right. So how do we figure out how many macros your body needs? Most of my clients come to this program under eating. They are not eating enough. They are constantly eating or aiming to eat like 1,000, 1,200 calories. This is not enough food, period. Your body needs more food to optimally function. We want a happy, optimally functioning thyroid and metabolism. Therefore, we need you to be eating a little bit more. If you are a client that has been severely restricting for years, we may have to slowly increase you up to where we want you to be. I promise you're not going to gain weight. If anything, you will stay the same as your metabolism ramps back up to be optimal and properly functioning. So to do this, what we do as your coaches, I've told you that I have a couple people that help me. We take into account your intake form, your age, your height, your weight. Next, we're going to look at your activity and maybe what your job is and what your day-to-day looks like. So in the Faster Way app, it's going to ask you if you're active, lightly active, sedentary, very active. Nobody here is probably sedentary. I'm just going to tell you that. If you signed up, you're probably not sedentary. Most of you are probably either lightly active, moderately active, or very active. So my lightly active clients are going to be people that are, they're walking around, they are taking care of their kids. Maybe they're not getting in all the workouts, but they're getting 1 or 2 workouts, and they're not in a job where they're on their feet all day. My moderately active are my clients who are doing 3 to 5 workouts a week. They are on their feet somewhat. They're aiming to get about 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day, but that might mean that they're only doing 3 workouts a week. Okay. And again, you guys don't necessarily have to figure out what you are. I'm just kind of telling you some brand parameters that we use to identify what you are. My very active clients are going to be my nursing clients. So if you are breastfeeding, you are going to select, or we're going to select for you, one activity level higher than what you actually identify with. So for me, if I am an active person, but I'm breastfeeding, I'm going to select for myself very active. That's going to give me that extra 300 calories. That's still going to put me in a deficit. I'm still going to be in a fat loss mode, but I'm not going to lose my milk supply. Okay. So, our very active people is going to be anyone here that has an active job where they are on their feet most days. Anyone here who is an avid athlete and plays a sport for a couple hours a week in addition to their faster way workouts. If you are constantly hungry on your moderately active macros, I may bump you up to this next level to account for some more calories. Again, this is still going to have you in a deficit. Okay. You can click and you can, this is still going to have you be in a deficit. Sorry. But it's just going to be more sustainable and you're going to feel good. No worries, Carly. I'll send out the replay. So we will send these to you, but if in the meantime, if you're getting antsy because we are a little behind, we had a bigger than usual round that we didn't anticipate, which is a good thing, but we're just a little backed up. So to do this, we're going to send them to you if you haven't gotten them yet. But if you're getting antsy, here's how to do it. And you can check ours against yours. Okay. So you're going to go into your app. You're going to select macro goals. Now, again, we're going to send you what we think you should do. And when we do, I'm going to show you that first. If we send you your macros, just select this, the pencil, and then you'll go down and you'll select custom, and then you'll select the carbs, protein, and fat that we have given you for a regular day. And then under low carb net days, most of you are going to select 50 or 75 unless you are nursing, and then you will select 100. If you are already know that you react really poorly to a low carb diet and we don't give you 75, feel free to up to 100. I do 100. I don't feel good on 50. 75 might be a nice point for me now that I'm not nursing, but that's what I have mine set to for now. But here's how to do it in the meantime. And you can kind of, check what you get against what we get to make sure that, we read your line across straight on our Google Sheet. So you'll select this calculator, and hopefully many of you already did this. Height, weight, age. Oh, this is actually for me. I select moderately active. I work from home and I really don't get my steps in. I should, but I don't. So I'm going to select moderately active because I do the faster way workouts, but aside from my 30 minutes, I don't do a ton. I don't really want to lose weight, but for the sake of this, I'm going to say lose weight. And then I'm going to select the 40, 30, 30. I'm going to do net 100. And here I have I'm going to hit done. And there I'm going to have my macros right at the bottom. Okay. All you guys need to worry about for the sake of this 6-week program is the regular macro day and the low carb day. Do not worry about the other days. Those are things that we offer in VIP. That's our membership. In VIP, we offer these additional resources as a way to prevent hitting a plateau and to keep going. But don't worry about those. Your focus is a regular macro day and the low carb days. If you haven't noticed it yet, low carb days are Monday and Tuesday, and regular macro days are Wednesday through Sunday. This is called carb cycling. We intentionally lower our carbohydrates back to back on Monday and Tuesday, and then we add back in carbohydrates Wednesday through Sunday to fuel our muscles and to fuel lean muscle growth. Okay. No one here is going to be looking like a bodybuilder. Don't worry. Lean muscle mass is really difficult to put on. Okay. Muscle is very difficult to put on. No one here is going to be looking like a bodybuilder or a, CrossFit competitor. You need to be on a serious, strict diet to build that kind of muscle. So I don't want anyone to think that. But building lean muscle mass, and all muscle mass is lean for that matter, but building muscle mass is going to elevate your metabolism. Okay. It is super important to maintain your muscle as you get older, because that's one of the factors why people think that getting older, it's inevitable you're going to put on weight. It's not inevitable, but people are just so conditioned to believe that age equals weight gain, and it does not have to. The keys are eating enough food so that you maintain that metabolism, okay? Maintaining optimal function of your hormones, and also building lean muscle mass to boost that metabolism, to counteract, the aging process. So the two things that are so important in this program, and I'm going to say them, is your strength training and getting in your protein to build that lean muscle. Okay. Those are the two secrets. If you take anything away from this program, those are the two things: eating enough of the right foods, especially protein, and strength training, lifting, building lean muscle. Those are honestly, in my opinion, the two most important things in this program. Okay. So, why do we do carb cycling? Carb cycling is our way of tapping into some of the benefits of a low carb diet. All of you have heard of a low carb diet. I know you have. I know you've probably tried it, right? Raise your hand if you have. So low carb diets do not work long term. They're not sustainable. Our hormones do not, our bodies do not want to be on them, because carbohydrates are our primary source. They're our preferred source for energy. They also don't work long term because they're just not sustainable. Like, it's unreal. Like, if you don't have kids yet, it is unrealistic to expect that you're going to go through life and be able to be on a keto diet at a kid's birthday party. And there are a lot of kids' birthday parties. And I don't want anyone here to be like, I can't have the leftover cupcake that my kid doesn't want because I'm on keto, right? Like, I like those leftover cupcakes. I love the leftover cupcakes. It's just not sustainable. And so I'll have people in the group and they'll be like, oh, I had a really bad week, or not week, but like day. And I'm like, well, the good thing is it's not a Whole30 and it's not a keto program. So have if you have an experience that is less than nutritious or ideal, doesn't matter. Start fresh that next meal. You did not ruin any progress. You gave your body what you wanted. And so it's a mindset thing, it's a mindset shift, that one experience that you have a treat that maybe wasn't planned is not ruining a day. It's not. Okay. You're not backtracking. You're enjoying something in the moment, and appreciate it for the mental gift you're giving yourself for having what you want. And don't look at it as being bad. We are never bad for what we eat. Okay. We are good when we eat things that we want. Okay. And we feel good when we fuel our body with good food, but we're never bad. Okay. So the idea behind carb cycling is that the goal is 50 to 75 net carbs. That is total carbs minus fiber. We only count net carbs on low carb day. To be honest, I don't know why, but that's what we do here in the Faster Way. So the goal is 50 to 75 net carbs Monday, Tuesday, back to back, so that we burn through all of our readily available glycogen carbohydrates. Okay, we burn through them. Like, think you're running a marathon. You run out of your glycogen, you run out of your carbohydrates, and then suck down the goo so that you get a burst of energy. That's, you're replenishing those carbohydrates. We're not going to replenish the carbohydrates here. We're going to do our HIIT workouts intentionally on Monday and Tuesday so that we can deplete those carbohydrates that are readily available, so that our bodies tap into the fat stores. Okay. So it's the whole idea of the fasting, fat loss. We are going to lose fat when we're in an intermittent fasting state, and we're going to turbocharge it with these 2 low carb days. Okay. We intentionally do low carb days back to back with our HIIT workouts. I've shared that I tend to do Peloton on Monday and Tuesday, mainly because I still need to do low impact modifications. And with some of the low impact modifications, I don't always feel like my heart rate gets as high. With the HIIT workouts, you want to be breathless. You want to be at that upper capacity of your heart rate, and then you want it to come down, and then you want it to go up, and then you want it to come down. This type of athletic training burns more fat throughout the day than a steady state workout. So everything we do in this program is intentional. There's a method to our madness. However, if you don't feel great on 50 or 75 net carbohydrates, bump it up to 100, okay? That is fine. I'm fine if you want to bump it up. Let us know. You can go in, rewatch this video, how you would modify that in your app to update your macros. On Wednesday, we focus on full body strength training and we add back in those carbohydrates so that we can lift heavy and we can build lean muscle mass. Whew. Lot of talking on my half. Any questions? I'm going to go through some of the questions now. Carly said she liked all the strength workouts. Leg day was her favorite. We have one question. I need to do the Wednesday workout on Tuesdays at okay for the low carb cycle day. I don't love that modification. So the first priority in the faster way is nutrition. The second priority is rest days. Okay. It's not strength. The second priority is resting. Sleeping. Again, we want to make sure that you have hormones that are happy, and not getting enough sleep is detrimental to your hormone health. So I want everyone to try to prioritize getting at least 7 hours of sleep. Do not get 6 hours of sleep to squeeze in that workout. I would rather have you get 7. I really would. Next is strength training. The strength training days are super important. I don't care. So the HIIT is actually the next priority. So I would rather you prioritize strength over HIIT, but you could do your full body strength on Thursday, and then you could do your upper body on Friday and your leg day on Saturday. That's an option that I would rather see if Wednesday is out of the books. I play tennis on Thursdays, so I will often move. I said this on a call and I was like, tennis is kind of like a long walk for me. It's not that taxing. And then of course I had a 2-hour tennis match that was very taxing. So I don't want to say that, but typically tennis isn't that hard. If to me, it's just like a strong walk. So I do my full body on Wednesday, play tennis on Thursday, which is kind of like a rest day for me. And then Friday, I do my upper body. And then Saturday, I do legs. So you can play around with that a little bit. I even had one client, she does I think it was actually someone in your group. They're doing leg day on Friday because they want to take the weekends off. I don't love taking the weekends off. I feel like it kind of sets up this mentality that the weekend is just a whole free pass, but it is an option. If that's your only option, then I'm okay with that. I would love to see maybe like a kind of like a bike boot camp. It's just, I think that on Tuesday, your carbs are going to be low and your energy is going to be low, and you're not going to be able to lift as heavy as you might if you were carved up. Another question people often ask is, when is the best time to work out? And the best time to work out is when you'll actually do it. We, however, do recommend trying to do your HIIT workouts before breaking your fast. Some people that may not be accessible to you. And so if you are someone that needs a little something before you work out, have like a half a banana with like a teaspoon of peanut butter, just to give you some quick energy and a little bit of balancing the blood sugar with that peanut butter. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to talk about macro tracking a little bit more next. No? Okay. So macro tracking. So you have your target macros. Now what? Number one, you can follow our meal plan. Our meal plan is based on about 1,600, 1,650 calories. If you follow the meal plan and your macros are around there, you should hit your macro goals plus or minus 10 grams. That is hitting your macros. Plus or minus 10 grams is considered hitting your macros. Don't get hung up on that like little point, plus or minus 10. If you do not love the meal plan, which is fine, I don't love the meal plan. This meal plan is for 30,000 people across the world, essentially. It's hard to please everyone's tastes. If you you can make foods that you know and love using our app and the recipes. So how you do this is, here's the app. Take your total protein, divide it by 3. Okay. Most of you are going to have between 90 and 120 grams of protein. So most meals, if you're eating 3 meals, you should need about 30 to 40 grams of protein. So here's how we figure out meals for that. So this is if you don't like the meal plan. So you're going to go to the little fork and spoon. I'm not going to do that. You're going to go to the recipe library. You guys don't have all these weeks because you're just new. But I eat a lot of chicken. I don't eat pork. I don't eat a lot of beef, but I eat a lot of chicken. So I'm going to select chicken. I know that I need a meal that is between 30 and 40 grams. So I'm going to read and be like, what sounds good? And if it's a low carb day, you're going to look for lower carbs. And if it's a regular carb day, you're going to look for more carbs. So I am going to go, and I know that I really like the buffalo chicken sweet potato. I also know that I really like honey garlic chicken skewers. That sounds good to me. But poke down, find ones that sound good, that hit your things. Look at the ingredients, things that there aren't a lot of ingredients. Like this one's super easy. And then plug that in and kind of prepare what you're going to have in advance. So I like to use an Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to show that to you really quickly. Let's hope I can pull this up really quick. I know I'm not going to be able to because I want to, right? Hold on one second, guys. So I like to use a spreadsheet, and this allows me to kind of plug and play, is what I like to say. Plug and play my favorite recipes, and then I kind of rinse and repeat each week. Okay, so here is an example of a regular macro day for me. So here you have, these are my goals. So 174 grams of carbohydrates, 130 protein, 50 fat. Again, you can do this in the app. This is just how I like to do it to like keep track. So I'm going to break my fast with a smoothie. I have probably the same 3 or 4 breakfasts every single day. Smoothies are one of them. I'm going to have Orgain Simple Protein Powder. I'm going to have half a banana, some almond butter, some blueberries, spinach, and almond milk. I'm going to basically make this smoothie probably 3 days a week. I'm not going to have to calculate the macros because I just have it. I'm just going to copy it into my other days so I know it's there. Next for lunch, this was a recipe that was in the Faster Way app. It is super easy and simple. It is easy to meal prep: chicken, broccoli, and sweet potato. It's basically grilling up some chicken on the grill the night before, adding a tablespoon of olive oil to the broccoli and throwing the broccoli in an air fryer with 5 ounces of a sweet potato. If you are not sure what 5 ounces of a sweet potato look like, I have a portions guide that I think we uploaded in your Facebook group. So check that out. So if you don't have a scale, look at what 5 ounces of a sweet potato is. It's going to be about a medium-sized sweet potato. And there I have my macros there. Now, this recipe is in the app, so I did not calculate the macros. The app recipe did. However, this next one I made myself. And I kind of configured this so that I could hit my goals. It's a salmon poke bowl. It is very easy. It is rice, it is salmon, and then I added some cucumber and carrot and a little bit of avocado if I need the fat. But look here, it looks like I'm at my fat limit. So I am going to maybe eliminate the avocado. I could add it, but I'd be over. So I'm not going to do avocado on my salmon poke bowl tonight. So how I manipulate this, if I needed more protein, and I do need a little bit more, but like I said, you're hitting your goal if you're within 10 grams. I could get 6 ounces of salmon at my deli counter. Okay. And if your kid eats some of your salmon, it's not the end of the world. Like don't get hung up on the details. A cup of cooked rice, a half a cup of shredded carrots. You can use our app and plug them in individually. How you do this is you go to your app. Let's hit the fork. You're going to add food, and you can hit suggest if you don't know what you want. Let me stop sharing this real quick. You could hit suggest and it will give you some ideas for meals. Bacon, egg bacon cups, avocado, tofu, veggie scramble. Those are from the meat eating and the vegan guide. But we're not going to do that. I'm going to add food, and I am going to do add manually. Oh, wait, that's a scan. That's not what I want to do. Sorry. We are going to go to my items, and then I'm going to hit add recipe. Okay. So I did my items, and then I'm going to hit add recipe. And I am going to title this the salmon poke bowl. And I am going to add the ingredients that you guys just saw on my thing, and I will get my macros. So say you don't already have a recipe and you're just kind of figuring it out, you can plug in salmon, search for your ingredient. Here we go. We have salmon. You can see what's the serving size. So let's go with 4 ounces. I don't know why it says boneless. I hope all my salmon is boneless, but whatever. So it has 4 ounces. That's going to give me 25 grams of protein. But you guys just heard me say I need about 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal. So 4 probably isn't going to be it for me. I can't really change that there. So I'm going to go into number of servings, and I'm going to do 1.25. And that's going to give me, I think that gives me, I'll need to do my math. I think that gives me an extra ounce. So that's like 5 ounces. So there we go. I got my 30 protein. So it's a little bit like a game of Tetris, right? So it's kind of like put it in, see what it is. So I'm going to add my salmon. Then you're going to add your next ingredient, be the cooked rice, everything until it's in there. And then you're going to hit minimum ingredients, of course. You're going to go in and hit save. So 1 cup cooked of brown rice, add ingredient. And then let's do, I forgot to add my salmon. No, I did add it. And then let's just do carrots just for the sake of this. Sorry, we'll do a cup chopped, but I'm not gonna do a cup. So I'm gonna do 0.25. So it's just a 1/4 cup chopped. Okay, add ingredient. Okay, now I'm gonna save it. So now this is saved under my recipes. So if I want to have this meal again tomorrow, I don't have to go through all the pain of just adding that in. I could just literally click it once and it's there. And then I'm going to go into my macro sheet again. And I have a little bit of a protein deficit. So I'm going to go and I'm going to have some turkey slices for snack because that's an easy lean source of turkey. And I'm going to have a banana, and I'm going to have just a 1/2 tablespoon of peanut butter to balance out that blood sugar with my banana. So I'm getting fats, protein, and carbs for that snack. That's kind of a random ass snack. A lot of times I will do that because I like turkey. I have turkey for a lot of these. But here's a good example of a low carb day. I always have eggs and avocado with chicken sausage on my low carb days. This is a very regular breakfast for me. Lunch, having a Cobb salad. That is in the Faster Way app. That is a very popular Faster Way recipe. For dinner, I'm going to go basic. I'm just going to have some salmon with broccoli. And my Cobb salad has 49 grams of protein, so that works for me. And you can see these totals down here. I'm a little low on carbs, but it's low carb day. And so the goal is to be under the net amount. So I'm okay with that. And then my snacks, just a handful of nuts and some strawberries. And there you go. And then I'll send you guys a copy of this. Let me see if I can do that in the chat feature. I'll put that in the chat right there. Does anybody have any questions about this? I know this is a little complicated. Tracking macros is the hardest part of this program. However, if you can build up a recipe library in an Excel sheet or in your app, it's going to be easy. It's hard to do it at first, but by doing it regularly, it will get easier and it will become autopilot. And then in 12 weeks, you don't have to track anymore because you're so in tune with how much food your body needs. You know these recipes, you know that basically for me, I don't pay attention anymore to fat and carbs. I just pay attention to protein. I just make sure that all of my meals have about 30 to 40 grams of protein, and I know that I'm going to be good. And that's all I do now for maintenance. Okay. So this is not your forever. This is a tool that works. It does. And it's not going to be easy at first, but by practicing, rinse and repeat, it will get easier. I like using the Excel spreadsheet because it's just easier for me to visualize and I can manipulate numbers. Like if you need less fat, remove some almond butter, remove some avocado, reduce the olive oil. If you need more fat, add more olive oil, add more nut butters. Um, Someone asked to share this in the Facebook group. It doesn't seem to be working here. Sorry. Yeah, I can do that. You know what? It might just be the link that I used. I'll try it again, but I will put it in. I will put it in Facebook though too. Is that the same link? No, I don't think so. I think that one should work. I mean, actually, okay. So anything that I forgot to say? Okay. Last thing, don't get overwhelmed. In the faster way, I tell everybody we have a lot of tools. If the macro tracking isn't for you right now, you don't have to worry about it. Just focus on your protein. Okay. The carb cycling, choose to have a salad, choose not to put banana in your smoothie, have eggs and chicken sausage for your breakfast. You don't have to track macros to see progress, but if you don't see progress and you're not tracking macros, I'm going to tell you to track macros. You have no idea how powerful tracking macros is because so many of you have been under eating for years. And now that you're tracking, you're going to actually be properly fueling your body and you're going to be eating enough and you're going to figure out how your body's supposed to feel when you eat enough food. Okay. You're going to feel what it feels like to go to sleep, not having stuffed yourself on garbage food. The last thing I'll say is every meal of yours should have half of your plate should almost be fruits and vegetables. If it's not, and you don't see progress, I'm going to go back and I'm going to be like, did you eat fruits and vegetables? I want to see the bulk of your foods coming from the ground or having a mother. Okay. That's where I want the bulk of them to be. I don't want your foods to be predominantly chips and, gluten-free pasta and just things that are processed. Like I said last week, focus on minimally processed foods, but most of them, half of them at each meal should be fruits and veggies. Okay. All right. I have 2.5 minutes for questions. Feel free to unmute yourself. No one? Was I that good? It's okay. If nobody wants to ask, it's okay. But I'm shocked nobody has 1,000 questions. But I do only have 2 minutes left, so I don't know. Oh, how do we track alcohol? Thank you, Katie. So alcohol, you have to choose if you want it to be a fat or a protein. Sorry, a fat or a carb. You're going to divide the total number of calories by 4 if it's going to be a carb or 9 if it's going to be a fat. And you are manually going to enter that number in. So wine, 120 calories divided by 4, 30 grams of carbohydrates is how you're going to track wine. I knew the questions were going to come in. So to do that on my items, you would go to add food. You are going to go to add manually. You can put down wine. Does wine come up in here? I don't like how the wine comes in there. I'm going to change that. Add food, quick add. That's what you're going to do. You're going to do quick add for the wine. Title, wine, calories, 120, carbs, 30, add to food log. Done. Treat day, do we get more macros? No. Try to make your treat fit into your macros, but I do give my clients a free pass to not track their treat. Okay. That is an option. You are welcome to not track your treat. I am okay with that. But do try to fit it into your macros because of your mindset. I find that when my clients fit their treats into their macros, they realize how in tune they are with their hunger. And they're like, wow, I had a brownie. And back in the day, I would have thought that would have been a recipe to like just eat whatever I wanted the rest of the day and eat like garbage and feel like garbage. But when I track the brownie, I realize that I'm not as hungry and that when I eat enough protein and fruits and vegetables around that brownie, I'm able to still hit my macro goals and I feel good. And that is the power of macros. All right, I'm gonna get kicked off, so I'm gonna say goodbye. But thank you for staying with me. The 9 of you that are still here. We started with 20 and it went down to 9. I will replay this post, and any questions that you have, feel free to put them below the replay in our Facebook group. All right, bye guys. Have a great Tuesday.